With the release of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 pushed back to 2024 and very little communication made by the developers, I think this is a good time to take a look back at all the information we have learned about the game so far. Hello stalkers and welcome to the Anomalies dugout. In this video I will recap everything I could find about the upcoming S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 since 2020, from official sources. So we will not be discussing leaks and rumors, only stuff that was officially published by GSC. But don't worry, there's plenty enough. Without further ado, let's start with the general information about the game. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chornobyl is described as a next-generation first-person shooter with elements of survival, immersive sim, and horror. The game is being made by Ukrainian developer GSC Game World, and is a sequel to the original trilogy composed of Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, and Call of Pripyat. Just like these games, and as the name suggests, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 will take place in the Chornobyl exclusion zone, in an alternative universe where a second disaster occurred in 2006. Following this event, strange things started to appear in the Forbidden Zone. Anomalies defying the laws of physics, mutated creatures, and other unexplained phenomena. Despite the dangers, the zone contains valuable items, including artifacts, the powerful objects created by anomalies, and secret documents about the science experiments that were once carried out in the area. Therefore, some brave adventurers, known as stalkers, dare to trespass inside the perimeter. In the series, the player takes on the role of such a stalker, who will explore the wasteland, look for valuable treasures, fight for survival, and try to uncover the secrets of Chornobyl. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is known among single-player games for its immersive atmosphere and ambience, extensive lore and world building, but more importantly for varied and fun gameplay, including exploration, looting, finding your way through anomalies and other hazards, fighting both monsters and human foes, meeting and trading with interesting characters, completing engaging quests, and so on. The new game is set to release in the first quarter of 2024 on PC and Xbox Series X and S, and will be available on Steam, Epic Games Store, GOG and Microsoft Store. It will also feature full controller support, and you can already check out the system requirements and available languages for voiceover and subtitles on the official website. You may have noticed that the system requirements are quite demanding, and that is because the quality of the game is supposed to be extremely high. Indeed, the engine for S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is the new Unreal Engine 5, which in theory should allow the game to have excellent visuals and a level of immersion never seen before. The choice of this engine also means that the game will be easier to modify than the previous entries, and in fact the developers have planned official mod support. GSC has recognized the importance of the S.T.A.L.K.E.R modding community, and has even stated that they plan to improve the modding features after the release. The development of the game also makes use of many modern technologies, such as full body and facial motion capture, as well as photogrammetry, to make the characters and animations appear as realistic as possible. The developers have spoken about custom-made tools used to create all the details needed to build the S.T.A.L.K.E.R world. For example, there is a tool that will allow the NPCs to all have different teeth, so we can really expect every single character in the zone to be unique. Lastly, the game is going to make use of a brand new A-Life 2.0 system. If you have played the original games, you surely are familiar with A-Life, this technology that allows every NPC and creature in the zone to pretty much live their own life independently from the player. It is this system that makes the world around you seem alive, as different characters will roam the map, fight, search for loot, and basically follow personal objectives on their own. With the new A-Life 2.0 system, the zone in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 will feel even more immersive and full of events that are out of the player's control. Speaking of the zone, the map in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is going to be massive and open for exploration, being described as a seamless open world more than 60 square kilometers large, featuring many different locations, biomes, labs, and underground areas. This world will contain both old and new locations, and here are the ones that we have seen so far. The cordon with the iconic Rookie Village, the Great Swamp from Clear Sky, the Garbage with its depot, the Agroprom Underground, Rostock and the surroundings of the bar, the Ghost City of Pripyat, with areas such as the Ferris wheel and the school, Chornobyl 2, a small city not far from Pripyat, the Duga radar, a gigantic Soviet antenna built in a forest, Yanov Station in the vicinity of the Jupiter factory, and a new area called Zalicia. In the various trailers, screenshots and artworks, we've also seen many different locations that could not be identified, so either new or changed. This included woods, villages, outposts, factories, underground laboratories, and even a plane with a red poppy field. But don't be fooled, this is probably an hallucination or a deadly anomaly. Moreover, there are other locations speculated to be in the game. This area is rumored to be Zaton, and this might be in the Dark Valley. And I think we can all agree that the Chernobyl nuclear power plant will be there. In fact, this scene appears to take place on the roof of a building very close to the nuclear station, as these are the cooling towers for the never-finished reactors 5 and 6. Now on to the story. You might have noticed that the familiar areas known from the original games appear even more desolated and gloomy. Well, that is exactly the effect the developers want to convey. This is because the S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 will take place in a modern world, that is, several years after the 3 previous games, perhaps a decade even. A lot of time has passed, so the zone has changed, buildings look even older, and according to Sergei Grigorovich, game director and creator of the S.T.A.L.K.E.R series, the zone will give more modern vibes and more desolation. In S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, we will play the role of a stalker named Skiff, and the story will be non-linear, with many different branches and decisions to make. Your actions will have both short and long-term consequences, ultimately deciding the entire fate of the zone. It is said that 100 hours of gameplay are required to fully explore the game, and one playthrough won't be enough to discover all the possibilities. In fact, the player will have to side with factions, basically deciding who to be friends and enemies with. Both old and new groups will be featured. Here are the factions that we have seen so far: Lone Stalkers, Bandits, Mercenaries, Scientists, Official Authority Forces, most likely akin to the military, Duty, Freedom, Monolith, and a new faction called the Ward. Led by Colonel Alexander Korshunov, the Ward is a small army tasked with protecting the Scientific Institute for Research in the Chernobyl Anomalous Area, or S.T.A.L.K.E.R for short. Similarly to Freedom, members of the Ward believe in researching the zone and exploiting its wonders for the best of mankind. But similarly to Duty, they are seen as some sort of police force by other stalkers, and bandits hate them. So it seems that the Ward and the S.T.A.L.K.E.R are going to have a very large impact on the story. but almost no details have been revealed about the plot so far. Also worth mentioning is the fact that the Monolith faction seems to be split into two groups. One of true believers, led by an unknown blind stalker, and one with wavering faith, that is rumored to be called Noon and possibly led by the one known as Strider. Furthermore, another group was indirectly revealed in the form of patches distributed to certain people at Gamescom. This is the emblem of the IPSF, the International Perimeter Security Force. Considering the name, it sounds like the world nations formed an alliance and created this force in order to secure the borders of the zone. Moving on, several important characters have been revealed as well, some of them new, some old acquaintances. The legendary Doctor, Professor Herman, and the Stranger from the Roof all seem to be playing a role in the main story. We've also seen some other stalkers being Vitya Curley, Liolik, Mite, Gaffer, and Zolder. Lastly, Barkeep appeared in this artwork. Apart from these individuals, the zone will be populated by a number of mutants, once again both old and new. We learned that the appearance of monsters will change depending on their habitat. For example, two mutants of the same species will look different if one lives outside and the other lives underground. Here are the creatures that we have seen in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 so far. The blind dogs, the flesh said to be a mutated pig, what looks like an actual mutated pig, the rodent, the bayoon, a mutated cat capable of imitating human voices to fool its victims, the deer, a dangerous animal with armored skin and able to project fake copies of itself, the legendary bloodsucker, the Burer, a humanoid gifted with telekinesis, a type of poltergeist, a strange floating creature that also uses telekinesis, and the Controller, a humanoid with strong telepathic powers. To protect themselves from all these monsters but also from enemy factions, stalkers will use a variety of armored suits and weapons. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 will feature more than 30 models of firearms that can be customized in different ways. Just like before, technicians will be able to perform special upgrades on weapons, but the player will also have the choice to attach accessories on the go, such as scopes and suppressors. We are already aware of some of the weapons and accessories that will be in the game. Here's a quick list. The classic knife, the RGD-5 grenade, the F1 grenade, the PMM or Makarov pistol, the UDP or USB pistol with attachable suppressor, the Viper 5 or MP5 with attachable suppressor, rail attachment and optional drum magazine, the Bison, the Kiparis and the MAC-10 submachine guns, the double-barrel son-of shotgun, the good old TOZ 34 shotgun, the Saiga 12 semi-automatic shotgun, the AKS-74U with a sight, rail attachment and optional double-taped magazine, the AKS-74 with attachable suppressor and optional double-taped magazine, the IWI Carmel with grenade launcher, scope and flashlight attachments, the Assault GP37 or G36 with integrated scope, another version of the G36, this time without the integrated scope but with attachable optics, the HK416 with attachable scope and foregrip as well as optional drum magazine, the Malyuk with attachable scope and suppressor, the ASA Avalanche or AS-Val, probably the Vintar BC aka VSS Ventures, the M14 in a modernized state, the Remington 700 bolt-action rifle, the Dragunov sniper rifle, the PKP machine gun, the RPG-7 rocket launcher, and a redesign of the Gauss rifle. Furthermore, weapons will be subject to jamming, which will be fully animated. In addition, guns will now hold one round in the chamber if you reload before your magazine is empty. So for example, you can have 9 shots ready to go in the Makarov or 31 shots in the AK. Like in the previous entries, weapons will feature several firing modes, such as semi-auto, 3 rounds burst, fully auto, etc. From the game demo that was available to play at Gamescom, we also learned that the player will be equipped with a 3 weapons loadout. That is, a sidearm, probably a pistol, a secondary weapon, for example a shotgun, and a primary weapon, such as an assault rifle or whatever you'd like to use. Purists will also appreciate to learn that leaning was possible in the demo. So far, it looks like the gunplay will be quite smooth and satisfying. In terms of other equipment, the PDA will return with a brand new look and animations. Moreover, the developers talked about the artifact detectors. Apparently, the old detectors from the original games will be featured, along with brand new devices, such as the Gilka 1 or branch seen in the trailers. The devs have planned to make every detector unique so that they all serve their purpose. We could also see the boards that are used to navigate inside anomalies. Speaking of anomalies, we will once again come across both old and new anomalies in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Here are the anomalies we've seen so far. The springboard, the vortex, probably the whirligig, several electrical type anomalies, the burner, the fruit punch, and for the new stuff, this bubble-like anomaly, the gravitational formation known as the ribs, this strange floating arch anomaly, what looks like a new electrical anomaly in the distance, whatever this large glowing blue spot is, an unknown round-looking anomaly, this huge anomalous breach, this large and gravitational reddish-looking formation, and the poppy field, which is speculated to be of anomalous nature. As demonstrated by the trailers, anomalies will be more interesting and varied. They might also be more dangerous, and according to Grigorovich, now have a huge effect on worn equipment. Indeed, going through an anomaly field unprepared will leave your armor in shambles. Developers also spoke about a new type of anomaly, called arch anomalies. From what I understand, there are now 3 kinds of anomalies: singular anomalies, anomaly clusters, and arch anomalies. The difference is that the arch anomalies will contain artifacts that are extremely difficult to obtain because, unlike in regular anomalies, the artifact will be located right in the center of the hazardous area. For example, GSC posted a description of this brand new anomalous formation, which has a strong gravitational pull, and an artifact is seen at the epicenter of the arch anomaly. Grigorovich explained that the player will need more than good equipment to get his hands on such artifacts, as there will be a special trick to overcome an arch anomaly. A few maneuvers achieved with the help of the bolts were already showcased in the latest trailer, where we saw Skiff about to jump through a springboard anomaly after discharging it, and popping out a new bubble-like anomaly in order to progress. There is also the mysterious Topaz device that was seen being carried and used in the trailers. We don't know its exact purpose just yet, but it is clear that it has something to do with anomalies. Apart from these new dangers, it seems that regular artifact hunting will still take place in normal anomalies. So far, we only learned about 3 new artifacts: this floating rock, the jelly, which has the ability to restore stamina, and the cloud, with properties currently unknown. Of course, artifacts are mostly created during the event called an emission, which will return in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. An emission or blowout is a large anomalous storm, characterized by its red color, and which kills everyone who does not take cover inside a building when it occurs. The emission was present in several trailers, as well as in the playable demo at Gamescom. Moreover, we know about some of the other survival elements included into the game. Just like in the previous entries, the player will have to manage his inventory, only being able to carry a limited weight. In addition, obvious mechanics include endurance, health, bleeding control and radiation contamination, while the parameters of hunger and sleep will be even more important than before. If you don't feed your character enough, he will lose aim and stamina, and his stomach may growl while you sneak by, allowing enemies to detect you. Similarly, not letting Skiff sleep when he is tired will lead to loss of stamina and unclear vision, as well as auditory hallucinations in extreme cases. Thankfully, a safe bed and many consumable items will be here to save the day. Here are those that we have seen so far: the medkit, the bandage, the bread, the sausage, 2 types of canned food, one of them probably being the famous tourist's delight, the bottle of Kozak's vodka, another unidentified bottle, and the can of non-stop energy drink. Not to mention that using such items will now be accompanied with a proper animation of healing, bandaging, drinking, and so on. With all of this information in mind, 2 things are quite clear. Firstly, Heart of Chornobyl is staying true to what the original S.T.A.L.K.E.R games were. Secondly, the main appeal of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 will be the single-player campaign. Grigorovich even confirmed that there will be no co-op mode, as it would ruin the solo experience. However, we know that the game will feature a multiplayer mode to be added for free shortly after release, where we can expect to take part in PvP, deathmatches and team deathmatches. The game is also set to feature weapon and armor skins that are meant to be realistic in order to maintain the immersion, and there will even be a season pass, although we don't really know what to expect from this just yet. Last but not least, 2 story expansions are planned for the single player experience, so I guess there will be at least 2 DLCs. Right now we are still waiting for more information to be shared by GSC. So that's gonna do it for this report. Don't forget that everything I talked about is information from the ongoing development of the game, so until we see the release, all of these elements are subject to potential changes. While the game is highly anticipated, I can only suggest to keep expectations low for the time being, just in case. If you have any questions, or if I somehow missed anything, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and good hunting, Stalker.